You would join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank y'all for waiting.
Thank you for coming.
I told them I had spotted you. I told them that I spotted you.
Yeah. You said you'd be right behind me. I thought, nah.
Sarah Menard,
Here.
Ina Kreitler, Jan Braun,
Yeah.
Donna Rosh, here. Kelly Pollard,
Here.
Kiadisu Manjurin,
Here.
Laura Oliver,
Here.
Jack Heading,
Here.
Tom Hooper,
Here.
and Susan Johnson.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Oh, that's okay. Thank you. And I notice we have the mayor with us tonight. Thank you for being here.
Good to be here.
And Mr. Comey is here, and the press is here. Nice. Does everyone have a copy of an agenda? And if it looks satisfactory, I will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Any second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. And you have minutes. The last official meeting was in January, and when we met in April, there was not a quorum. But you do have minutes from maybe you don't have minutes from the work session.
No, we don't have. The most recent minutes to approve would be January.
Yeah. And you have a copy of those, yes? Do you need a moment to look over those? You probably got them electronically. Unless, like me, you rarely open your emails.
It's summertime.
This is the one we were at the
Welcome Center.
We're at the Welcome
Center.
Yeah.
So should we amend, does that have to be on here?
It does say that it was at City Hall, so we might want to
Just
amend that to
amend
be.
So I'll move to amend that the meeting was held at the Welcome Center.
Okay. I don't think that takes a motion. I think that's a... And when you've had a chance, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes as corrected.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. So if you'll make that note that it was the Welcome Center. Okay, thank you for that. Are there any visitors to be heard, or are you just all here for fun?
Bingo.
Okay, how about a Director of Tourism report?
Okay.
You're shuffling a lot of papers.
I know,
This
I know.
is scary.
This is to pass over to Megan.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I thought I would start out with the numbers. The good news first, the month of May and actually also April were excellent months. May was the highest recorded guest count for the month of May in the last 6 years. It topped out at just over 3,684 versus 3,579 last year. And last year was previously the best year, as you can see on your chart. You will notice in the month of June that informal line that you can see is, that is the preliminary figure for June. Because of the flooding and excessive rains, and even though we were not closed, of course we were shut off from Illinois through the Chester Bridge, which was closed, obviously the ferry. but we got so many phone calls from people, the ones that called, saying, I just want to find out if you're open for business because we heard every place along the Mississippi River was flooded. And of course, we tell them, thankfully, we are not flooded. We're very much open for business. Please come and see us. But I think that had a big impact on our numbers. I've talked to a number of businesses and they got the same story. I don't know if anybody else had comments from people about, I'm so surprised that you're open. I thought everybody was closed.
I did, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We had a lot of cancellations at the end.
yeah. So,
And the Bridge at Cape was also closed.
for a while, they
For a
were even
while,
closed,
yes.
yes.
Hey, Manchester.
I didn't realize how many Illinois customers I had until I didn't have
Until they
them.
were until they all had to stay home.
Yes, yeah.
And really, they couldn't go anywhere over there. I mean, Fort Deschartres started canceling everything at the fort back in April. So April, May, June, for them, everything was closed. So we're fortunate that we had the traffic that we did, but as a result, it was the lowest one in 5 years. And as I said, that's a preliminary figure. We don't have everything in yet into the computer, but I looked it up, and it's going to be about where that little black line is. I just wanted to see what it looked like. So there you have it. So if anyone asks you, we were definitely impacted. And I also wanted to point out that despite June numbers being down across the board, we did have, considering the situation, an excellent turnout for the French Heritage Festival. We had almost as many people through the Welcome Center as last year's French Heritage Festival. I heard really good comments from business owners and innkeepers. I don't know if you had cancellations on that week.
We were okay for that.
Okay, for that weekend.
Yeah.
I also wanted to point out, since the mayor is here, we had some consular guests from the Consular Office of Quebec for the French Heritage Festival. And the gentleman from their Chicago consular office came down. The mayor presented him with a key to the city of St. Genevieve, and he was included in our opening ceremonies. And he and his two friends that came with him just raved about St. Genevieve. They had such a good time. They got their pictures taken. They got to walk in the parade holding a flag, and down along Main Street, they got their picture taken several times. So after that, the consular office person sent Quebec flag to the Welcome Center so that we could have a Quebec flag represented in next year's French Heritage Festival, which I thought was pretty cool. So as a result of that, we are going to try to establish a new sister city arrangement with the little tiny town, well, not so little, but the small village that was about an hour away from Quebec City, where many of the people that founded St. Genevieve came from. And it's called Beaupre, B-E-A-U-P-R-E. And it seems very fitting and appropriate, and the gentleman from the consular office suggested that because he was familiar with our history, and so I think he's going to help us in that endeavor, which I think would be pretty cool, because right now, of course, we have a sister city arrangement with the German sister city. Yeah. Bolsbach. Bolsbach, Germany. It's out on the sign. We can read it out in front of City Hall. But it would be pretty cool to have one with the area of Quebec that this place, that started this place. So, so that was kind of a bright spot in June. Moving right along, I gave you a copy of the FY20 proposed budget. And that's a two-sided copy. This is the Welcome Center. It says general fund. There are actually some funds included, some dollars included in this that are not part of the general fund. And it does not include anything that goes through the Tourism Tax Commission. That's reported on a completely separate page of the city budget, and that's usually around $20,000 to $24,000. And separate funds for the promotion of tourism in St. Genevieve. So this is really all the other programs that we do. This is operating the Welcome Center 7 days a week. This includes $5,000 of my time that are paid for outside the city budget. They're actually paid for by the IDC to help out with economic development projects. And it includes our marketing. The big line item on the second page, 7106, those are, it's called tour expenses. It's kind of a roll-up line item. That includes, obviously, expenses for the bus tours that come in when we have, well, they pay us, obviously. They have a step-on guide that comes, or they buy passports for all of their people. So the revenue goes into a line item, the expenses come out of a line item so that we can track anything related to tours. If we have to do, special copying because they want, I don't know, a map of the cemetery, or they want a special map for the downtown that just shows the places that they're stopping, we try to capture everything on that line item. And we try to ensure that the revenue item on the other page of the budget is larger than the expenses ended up being. So as you can see, for now, we're just keeping that FY20 proposed budget line item about what the FY 2019 adopted was. And you can see 2018 actual was at 25,091. So it's usually right in that ballpark. I just wanted to point it out because it's a large item. Second only to marketing. So speaking of marketing, sorry to jump back and forth, but on the first page you can see that line item 6015 is marketing, and this is the majority of the marketing that we do that runs through the Welcome Center. So there are other funds that are approved for expenses through the Tourism Tax Commission. They generally tend to take on larger projects like the billboards out on Interstate 55. They have recently helped us get full page coverage in the spring and fall day trips kind of publications to our target markets in St. Louis and other surrounding areas. So that's a line item that's really essential to St. Genevieve's marketing program. So, just so you know. And really everything else, I like to think that I can squeak the pennies pretty tightly. And I try to give a pretty good projection of where we're going to be on the end of this fiscal year, and if I think I can knock off a couple of $100 here or there, I do. Last year, for instance, line item 67060, so that's on the second page. Fourth one down from the top under services. We were concerned and not really sure what would happen with national parks coming in, if we might have some expenses that we needed to cover for that purpose. And so last year in the budget I included 1,250. You can see we're just shy of 500 on year to date in that FY19 8-month actual. We do have a couple of other expenses we'll have to pay, but I'm saying that next year we'll probably be safe in budgeting $500 for that. And this is all to say, even if we reduce that to 500 the way I proposed, if something came up that was, so to speak, urgent for the national parks, we could take it to the alderman and have a budget amendment approved if we had something that we came across. We just thought there might be some situation that we would need these funds this year. I don't think we're going to need all of them, so I took part of that out. In case someone asked, Susie, I think that was one of the things that you asked for, and I went back to look and see what the original notes were on that, and it was national parks related.
Thanks.
So that's the budget, and As you've, I'm sure, been following, the Board of Aldermen is approaching the budget a little differently this year. Originally, it sounded like it was going to be a complete overhaul of how the budget is put together. And it seems to me now that we're just starting a little earlier, and it seems like it's going to be fairly much the same process. Generally, when I put together a draft budget, I'll meet with City Administrator Martin Toma and Pam and Sue, our city clerk and city treasurer, and we'll go through everything and have a discussion about why this, why that, and then we'll go to the Board of Aldermen and review it. This year, I went to the Board of Aldermen last week already with this draft, and then they'll have time, if they have questions about something or whatever. And I'll still be meeting with Martin and staff at City Hall. And then there will be another hearing in front of the Board of Aldermen, so I'll be sure to let you know when that other hearing is going to take place. So that if you'd like to be there, not that you have to be, but if you'd like to be, we'll let you know when that is.
Okay.
That's a pretty big thing. And then I just have a few more updates. Speaking of National Park Service, we recently had a visit by USA Today travel writer, and I invited Tim Good, our designated interim superintendent for the National Park site, to come and provide an interview with this writer. I had hoped he would do more interviews, but he was very focused, and he had other things that he was intending to get to. But the target date of the park is still told to us to be fall. They have some due diligence and paperwork that they have to work out through Department of the Interior. And telling that to the travel writer from USA Today was not especially a deterrent to him, but he wants to keep pretty close tabs on when that date is set, so that about a month out from that, he can try to get our story into the appropriate USA Today. And it would be online and print, ideally. If we're not able to provide enough advance notice, it might be online only. So it's in our best interest, definitely, to try to nail down a date and as early as possible. That's going to be difficult, I realize, but
surely a month out. That's not asking too much from the National Park Service.
well, we hope so.
Surely Donna must have some. Donna must have had some dealings with them.
No pressure.
She's looking skeptical.
We're still partnering with them.
Yeah.
And so they're still trying to really get their feet on the ground at
Oh, yeah.
Amaro. So, sometimes they're there 3 days, sometimes they're there 4 days. So it's getting enough people in till they actually get here.
Work in
to
progress.
do it. Yeah.
What about with the Dames properties? Has that picked up any?
That's still in discussion and dialogue between the two organizations.
To get the Center for Fresh Colonial Life as the headquarters?
Well, that's all in discussion right now. It is our understanding that those talks are ongoing. I'm sure it's a very complicated conversation.
The last I heard, and it was several weeks ago, like 8 or 10 or 12, but I saw part of a hearing, and Senator Blunt was talking to the Deputy
I saw that.
Secretary of the Interior, saw that, yeah. And he indicated that, oh yes, it's moving swimmingly, and then said, and by federal terms, swimmingly means months, not weeks.
Right.
Right.
So they are aware of us in Washington, and they are aware that it's supposed to be happening.
They don't have anything else going on though, right?
Well, yeah.
For their sole concern.
Yes.
There were a couple of things I wanted to point out. In the previous minutes from January. Candy had brought in, at that time, the Christmas issue of Missouri Life magazine. And there are a couple of big things going on with Missouri Life magazine as well. The largest is that every year they host a recreational bike ride across the state of Missouri called BAM, B-A-M, Bike Across Missouri. It's the largest recreational organized ride in the state, and it's been happening for 5 years now. The first 3 years, it went like across the upper part of the state, what they call Highway 36 or the Way of Genius, you know, with all of those sites north of Interstate 70. And then last year, 2018, they did a Route 66 loop. And then this year, they brought it back to the above Highway 70, and they did a loop up there. Next year, they want to bring it to southeast Missouri. And this is the kind of a organized bike ride where, 300 to 400 cyclists will sign up for it. Depends how interesting it sounds, so we want to make it sound very interesting. They'll sign up for it. They'll converge on the beginning of the trail. All of the logistics are handled by a subcontractor that Missouri Life magazine brings in who does these big bike rides. And so they'll have 4 nights overnight along the trail, and then they ride however far during the day. And it's recreational, so if they're riding through wine country, they might decide that they want to stop off at a winery, and then as long as they get to the place they're supposed to sleep that night, by the evening, they're fine. So it might take somebody 2 hours to get from point A to point B. It might take somebody else 8 hours, and it's not athletic ability.
Especially if
It's
they
actually
stopped
how
at the
many
winery.
how many detours did they do along the way? So, and then every night they have a different band come in, and so they have, it's like a camp out, they have entertainment, they go out to eat in the restaurants, they, whatever. Some of them actually go and get a room, but they also provide shower units. They pick up all the gear for the cyclist at that campsite and move it to whatever the next night's campsite is. So the whole thing is, it follows a procedure. And I've been talking with the editor of Missouri Life for, I think, almost 2 years about this, because we first started talking about it during the eclipse year. And so next year, 2020, is definitely when they're going to do the Southeast Missouri Loop. He was here today. It's a pretty hefty sponsorship. It's a $5,000 sponsorship. And so in most communities, the Chamber of Commerce foots that bill. And so I had sent the information out to the Chamber of Commerce some time ago, and the editor came here, and he and I met with the Chamber. Their board meeting was earlier today, and went over all the details with them, what the costs would be, what the expectations are for the community, which are minimal. And they will let us know soon, I think, if they are willing to take on that sponsorship.
You mean the chamber?
The chamber.
The chamber will let you know.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So it would be in June of 2020, and we'll know more as these meetings unfold. But I just want to let you know, if you hear something about Missouri Life Magazine or Bike Across Missouri, or you can make positive comments about that. I think it would be very good economically for St. Genevieve to be, and because of the way that the route is going, it's either going to go from St. Genevieve to Poplar Bluff or the other way around. So either way, we'd either be the first community or the final community, and both of those have advantages in terms of how long the people are there and how many of their support significant others are there with them. So we'll see.
Well, and it was probably 10 years ago that there was a big bike event.
Yes.
And that was, actually, I think it was an international bike event. But it kicked off in St. Genevieve, and that was about the neatest deal.
Yeah.
That was fun, and it was a huge crowd in town. It was worth the effort to have them start here. Yeah.
And I think the chamber was heavily involved in that.
Pardon?
I think the chamber was heavily involved in that at the time, so certainly Dina has the, the institutional memory of the benefits of that.
No, I was going to say it's a shame that didn't carry on, but
Right.
It's a huge, difficult project.
Yeah.
So there's that. The other thing is that next week is the Tourism Tax Commission meeting, and I'm getting information from Missouri Life Magazine to propose that we have one of those half-page ads in their Christmas issue about St. Genevieve and why you want to come here in December, and because they have a really strong following, especially certain themed issues that they have. And we've been in some of their other themed issues, not the Christmas one, though, and I would love to be able to do that, so.
Sounds
Yeah,
exciting.
thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, you're welcome.
More Christmas shoppers, that's a good thing.
Then I also wanted to point out one of the other things that was discussed was the FY20 marketing matching grant, the state co-op grant. And in the past, we've only been eligible for a certain limited amount in St. Genevieve through that matching grant program because of our size and the number of overnight rooms that we have and so on. And this year in particular, the state was interested in expanding their partnership programs. So instead of only being eligible for $8,000 to $10,000, we partnered with Farmington or St. Francis County, and we were eligible for roughly twice that amount. So we'll be working together with them. It won't change our ads, it won't change their ads, but it will allow both of us to place more ads because 50% of it will be reimbursed. So we're in the beginning stages of getting that rolled out. We just got the notice of award about 3 weeks ago maybe, and their new fiscal year starts in July, so we're moving ahead with that.
Good.
I know that you saw in the newspaper about the bicentennial quilt, I think week before last. In addition, on Jurdafet weekend, there's a program called Paint for a Cause, and this is to develop a mural that will be displayed in the Capitol in Jefferson City during the bicentennial year 2021. And so this is a huge mural, and they're having different communities work on a different section of it. So I've invited, and they want a lot of people to turn out because everybody paints a triangle that's like 1 inch by, yeah.
It isn't very large, yeah.
No.
But it's already designed. The mural
It's
is
already designed,
Already
yeah.
designed, there's already a
By professionals.
scheme and a plan, yes.
Yes. So that will be hosted at the Welcome Center on Saturday and Sunday of Jurdafet weekend. And Donna has been very gracious in offering to host the two artists who will be coming to staff that because they do all of this just on a grassroots basis. They have no source of funding except for the communities that they go to, and people make donations. They don't charge people to paint because they really want like grandparents and grandchildren to paint a triangle or a few triangles on this mural that's going to be up in the Capitol. And 100 years from now, that grandchild might be telling, well, they might have to tell another generation. You never know, healthcare gets better on that. So it will be a legacy. It will be a legacy, and they hope that multi-generations will participate
So is it
in
going to look like pixels or something, whenever it's all
When you
done?
look at it up close, it does, but the further away you get from it, it becomes a picture.
It's like a big giant paint by number set.
It's
Awesome.
just like paint
It's like
by
the
number.
covered Post-it notes that when you stand back looks like something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good analogy, Tom.
Especially as
Those-
we're hands, a lot of people participate in that.
Wow.
That.
Yeah, so, cool. Anyway,
Move over, Da Vinci.
Yeah.
so I've got some information on that I'm going to be submitting to the newspaper as well, because I'd really like for people to get excited about it, and they're already going to be out for Jurdafet. Just stop by the Welcome Center and leave your mark for posterity. So, I think that's it.
Wow. I was looking at this list that had been developed about activities for 2020, and the more I look at it, the more I think there are probably 6 or 8 or 10 things on here that really don't require, it's not labor intensive. The things that the community could do for the Missouri 2020. For instance, the Muni Band, if we could encourage them, might play Missouri songs one of their concert nights. Well, that doesn't take any kind of extra work. They're going to play something anyway. And so there are a lot of things on here. And, I don't know if there is an intent for there to be some kind of coordinating committee between the city and the county, or if, we're just going to throw it in the air and hope that organizations grab a piece of it. But there kind of are a lot of things that could happen that don't require a whole lot of labor on the part of anybody involved. And there are things that would be a little more labor intensive if we were to have a time capsule. Well, somebody has to gather stuff, and find a location and dig a hole, but some of these things don't require any hole digging.
That might be
So it might be a good idea if we could encourage somebody.
like a
us,
city-county
A
partnership.
city-county
Yeah.
partnership, yes. Yeah, and we can involve the art guild. You know, if there were some kind of painting, the art guild, we might encourage them to send somebody down to the Welcome Center over at Zertifet and paint a triangle.
Mayor, what do you think? Would that be like a city-county partnership for the bicentennial?
Yeah, you could put that together and it would be a miracle. Be a Christmas miracle.
Well said.
You know,
We were all thinking the same thing.
yeah,
Again, all those different pages.
yeah, we'd have to have some discussion with the commissioners, and you would have to have some discussion with the commissioners.
Okay.
See if you want to go to one
Yeah.
of their meetings and bring it up and
Yeah.
present that to them, I think that'd be a great idea. What do
Well-
you think, Martin? He's all right with it, too.
And I think you have this list. You have a copy.
My experience with the commission is that you need to be very specific. You
Yeah.
need to go in and say, would you like to join us in putting together a plan? You need to go in and say, you do this.
Yeah, here's what,
We have a plan, would you like to be part of it?
Right.
yeah, or here's your part in our
And
plan.
here's
Yeah,
your
right.
part. Paragraph through section 3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This is the straw you drew.
yeah. What is today, then?
Okay, so I will reach out to
Yeah,
the
you
county
need-
commissioners, and maybe it should be brought up at the Board of Aldermen too, shouldn't it? Or about, or approach the county first, and then,
Yeah, I would do that. and then
Okay.
go from there.
and I'll say that Sarah Menard, as chairperson of the Tourism Advisory Council, has
Strongly encouraged.
strongly encouraged
And we're done.
an intergovernmental committee.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Also, under old business, we have the National Parks update. I think we've heard what we can hear about that. The River Rapids Water Park update, and I don't know that we need an update,
Has anybody been out there since?
other than I will,
We could tell.
yeah, sunscreen, yeah.
Or a lot of it.
It is
And-
spectacular, the park is just awesome.
And I will say, I had been a naysayer, and I take it all back. It is
Yeah, it's
spectacular.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
And it was so quickly put together.
it is spectacular.
I had a young lady come in the store the other day that said that it was the best water park, better than Cape Splash, better than Farmington.
That's what Dale Wright, he said, this is something.
She said,
Yeah.
I had a
Told
ball,
me
and
this.
she
I've
said
been
it was
there.
reasonable,
It's nice.
nothing but good things to say.
Yeah, so I will stop being a naysayer because it really
I
is
gotta
a
get my
nice,
grandkids.
really is a nice facility.
To get to your car if you want to go get lunch.
Hmm.
There was something in the paper about, or on Facebook about, once you leave the park, you have to return within 10 minutes, or you have to pay again to come back in or something. What?
From going there though,
They won't
the,
stamp your
the
hand.
menu was very, very reasonable.
I was gonna say, they have a concession stand.
Yeah, and Cullen is a season pass member, so we could have left and come back in, and I didn't bother packing them up. I'd rather just stay out there.
Good to know.
I think the very first day, they didn't have the concessions open yet, so maybe that was an issue, but
It was open this weekend.
for the weekend, yeah.
How about a museum update? I can tell you this, it is not going to open tomorrow.
I thought Rich said it was going to open today.
Well, that didn't happen either. But I can assure all of you that the museum board is anxious for the museum to get open. So we're nudging as gently as we can without making everybody angry. So it will happen, but not tomorrow.
One of these days,
Yeah, not tomorrow.
kind of like the national park.
Right, it's moving along swimmingly.
Yeah.
It's well worth the wait.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think it will be. I think
It will
it will
be,
be an
You
equally
know,
spectacular
something right, it's gonna-
facility,
takes
yeah.
time.
Is there a schedule for, like, opening events?
No, not yet.
Fall.
It'll be well, it'll be done when it's done right.
Well, the tear down of the county services building is going slowly but well. Yeah.
It's going, yeah, yeah.
They made some progress today.
Well, with that building down and the point, that building at the point,
Yeah,
They're shaping up.
that
that's a huge
that
improvement.
made that corner
Yeah.
look dramatically
Yeah.
different, and downtown, I think, will look different without that
Yeah.
services building, yeah.
Are those going to be parking lots?
Yes.
The point, I don't know. Downtown, it will ultimately be some parking.
The point is working with the Rotary Club to come up with a plan of the Rotary project. Well, to take that, landscape that area, make it more attractive.
That's not really a very big corner at all, as far as,
No, it's not a big.
no, yeah. But, some
But
kind
it
of,
used to have 3 pine trees in it, so there's room for a little bit.
yeah, some kind of
Yeah.
landscaping and a welcome sign or something to make it, but it already looks better, yeah,
Still have to wait for DOT on that, too.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, you have to put it on the point property, I think.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to deal with it.
In regards to Christmas decor, now is probably about the time to start talking about it. I have talked to Annette.
Well, good, because I was
And-
doing research, I researched my minutes and said you were appointed, or you were supposed to do something.
I did, and
I
it
talked to
was,
her briefly.
mine was a very brief conversation too,
Yeah.
because it was,
It was in passing.
it was in February, nobody's ready to start
No.
putting up Christmas decorations. And, she's aware, we're all aware that the old decorations are not gonna go on the utility
That's right.
poles. And those are pretty large. I think the idea that we could hang them on existing buildings downtown is kind
Yeah, I
of
don't think that's.
not really a very good idea either. But I have talked to Annette, and she'll get the committee together, and, she always pulls it off and comes up with
I
something.
think we're gonna the main thing is to do more decorating at the Welcome Center on that big, beautiful tree without killing it. With-
Please don't kill the tree.
I mean, I don't know how we're gonna get 30 million lights on there. It's gonna be spectacular when we do.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think there's just gonna be some work involved, and hopefully, I really think you won't miss it. I really think with all the decorations, with the businesses, with the lights that they're gonna have, I think Martin said Gary's upped in his budget this year, an extra $1,000, which is not a lot for decorations for Christmas, so it's gonna be a little bit challenging, but I think it's still gonna be fantastic. I really do.
I saw something funny the other day, it's complained that this is July 7th, and people are still setting off fireworks. Almost caught my Christmas decorations on fire.
Oh, dear.
So anyway, Annette will get her committee together, but I'm sure there will be, ultimately there will be a plan. Does anybody else have any old business to add, or any new business to add to the agenda?
I'd actually like to just invite everybody here, all the, members of the committee and everybody from City Hall to come to the event this weekend at ASL Pewter Foundry. We're hosting 7 guest artists in our foundry, and we've been partnering with tourism here to advertise in National Magazine. And we usually get about 400 guests that come in, and we've been getting calls for bed and breakfast and referring them to people around town. We just hope that everybody comes in. We're rearranging things and getting some more space in there for guest artists to have fun. And we're not going to have anybody demonstrating on the front porch this because it's kind of good because of the heat we have coming.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a little warm.
Give them a fan.
Might melt.
Give them
I
a
don't
fan.
volunteer to be on your front
No,
porch.
actually, no, I can't, but we've got that, and hopefully everybody will come by and see that. And we contacted Early American Life magazine, and of course, they have a jury of museum curators that look at everybody's work and look at it to see if it is museum quality in their reproductions. And we have 3 artists in St. Genevieve. It's the only community in America that has 3 artists that have been selected by that jury of curators.
Nice, nice.
That is really cool.
Yeah, I was about to say that those artisans that you invite in are high quality artisans, yeah. Yeah, well, good luck for that, and thank you for doing
And
that.
this,
It's good for the community.
Well, we've had
too.
great support here for doing that event since we've been here, and we've been partnering, and we've been able to secure a shared full-page ad in the back cover of the National Magazine for, I think, a real reasonable cost for what the community gets out of it and what the artists get out of it as well.
Nice, thank you.
You gonna have a press release on this?
It's already.
I think we've already had that, but if not, there is supposed to, the magazine was actually supposed to drop one. I don't know if they have or not.
Okay.
If not, I will take care of that momentarily.
Okay, thank you for that. I think everyone has a copy of the members of the Tourism Advisory Council, yes? Because at this
See where
time,
Donna is expired term.
Pardon me?
I just saw that.
Donna is, she's not legal tonight.
Dina too, but I'm pretty sure
I want to
We
reappoint you.
Wow,
yeah.
I may
Donna
have
and
not.
Dina.
that's a typo, right?
That's my problem, I
I'm like, well, I
apologize.
can leave. Said I would miss all this.
I'm pretty sure you were reappointed.
Candy,
Wow.
Dina.
Are you,
Dina was approved again, I apologize, I didn't update it.
We are legal. You vote now.
Well, it might have been since May.
Oh, we need to reapprove Donna. We'll have to do that.
okay. Well, at this time, I would entertain nominations for elections for a chairman and a vice chairman of the committee.
Is there a certain order it has to go in, Megan?
Okay, so we have to open nominations, which I believe you just did.
Mhm.
And then, no, somebody has to make a nomination. Anybody?
Of which position?
Of chairperson.
I nominate Sarah to continue as chair.
I'd second that.
Yeah, I would second it if you haven't.
Well, you have to, okay, first you have to accept it.
Okay, I would accept.
Okay.
If elected, I would willingly
There's a
And
serve.
then, you really need to do, are there any other nominations?
Are there any other nominations before we close the nominations? Are there any volunteers?
And then
Who's not
Kelly,
here?
Kelly was the first, who was the second?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then,
Okay.
so then you
well, I
have to
guess-
close
I
nominations.
guess nominations are closed.
And we have to first and second the closure of the nominations.
Okay.
Sorry.
So can I have a motion to close nomination?
I make a motion to close nominations.
Second.
Second from Jack.
Okay. And
All
then-
those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Well, okay. But that'll work. Okay. And then, we need to do the same thing for vice chair.
I was going to say, do we vote or do we?
I didn't hear any nays, did you?
No.
I mean, I think,
Were there
you
any
would-
nays?
You would abstain, and we have one absent.
Okay.
Right? I think we got it. So then you are the new chairperson, congratulations.
Congratulations to me.
Or the same chairperson.
Stop there.
Are there any nominations for vice chair other than Jan?
Hey. I'm not
I
here.
nominate Kelly.
Okay, Kelly, do you accept the nomination? That you would leave the meeting if Sarah's not here.
She tells me what to do, I can do it.
They're really good at nudging.
Sarah never goes anywhere.
Good.
So if you'll accept
Okay.
it.
So will you accept that nomination?
Okay. and
Okay.
Was there
I
a
need-
second?
Well,
No,
we
I
ha-
need a first and a
We
second.
need a first and a second.
I'll nominate Kelly.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Laura nominated.
Yeah, so that was the
So
first,
did?
Jan
right?
is
So-
second.
Yeah,
Okay.
Laura. Sorry, I'm not very good at this.
It doesn't matter, you're not even
We only
here.
have to do it once a year.
As long as it isn't us, right?
I know, every year I feel like I've never done it before.
Yeah.
So then.
Are there
I'll-
any other nominations?
Yeah.
If not, the nominations should be closed. Do we have the motion for that?
Yeah, I mean, we should technically all approve it.
I make a motion to close the
I second it.
nominations.
Yeah. All those in favor of closing the nomination?
Aye.
Okay, and then everybody agrees.
All those in favor of Kelly being the vice chair signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, congratulations. And this is what, a 32nd term?
That's a one-year term.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking, I'm like, wait a minute.
That went by pretty quick.
It's like a carton of milk.
And did you want to say that the Chalk Festival has been rescheduled? And
Yes.
it will definitely take place.
And anytime an event is rescheduled, it's a little bit of a challenge, so if there are any businesses that don't already have either a flyer, a full-size poster, or a legal-size flyer, please call the Welcome Center and we'll get one to you.
I don't have one.
Okay, all right. Anyone else at the table that needs one?
I'll drop
Donna?
by.
Candy? Okay,
If you want to bring one up here, I'll put it up.
okay,
Yeah, I'll drop by and get mine.
okay.
I don't think I have a new one.
The new one? I
So
think
they
you
all had
do.
to
I was
reprint?
over there the other day.
Okay.
You do.
I do, yeah.
You had to reprint all of them?
Yes, with the new dates.
Right.
And they had left off a sponsor, so it is a little bit different. Yeah, we can't just white out the date, so,
Yeah.
well, we could, but. So yes, it's the 27th, and it's kind of a cool thing because 573 Magazine organizes all of the activities, and there's going to be storybook princesses there, so if anybody knows anybody with little ones, not only is there chalk for little ones, there are storybook princesses, there's going to be karaoke all day, they're going to have rock stacking competitions, which I didn't know was a thing, but apparently it's a thing.
It's an unbelievable thing.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh my
That
God.
really is amazing.
Is it?
Pardon?
You seen the
Oh,
the
yeah.
artists that do it?
Yeah, seen dozens and dozens.
Balance.
So where's it taking
That will
place?
be
Where's the guy
on
that
North
has-
Main, basically
That's what I-
from Main Street
Yeah, the way
Park
it's
to Stella's.
balanced, yeah.
Oh,
So part of North Main will be closed, and
At Jefferson.
Jefferson next to the St. Jem, between there and the Main Street Park will be closed. And there'll be activities in that area. Kona Ice will be here, there'll be Ketacorn. I think that the German cook who does bratwurst is going to be there. One of the event sponsors is the Beanick Cafe, so she's going to provide cakes for a cakewalk. When's the last time you went to a cakewalk? So
my whole
it's
life.
going to be a lot of activities. A lot of activities in associated. It starts at 9 a.m., goes till 4 p.m. So,
Could be fun.
yeah, we hope
good.
that, and we hope for good weather.
Yeah. And just to clarify, is this correct information? The ferry is not yet running?
That is correct. They are
Okay.
still cleaning up the site and preparing to be able to run.
Okay. People were in today and asked.
They are hoping that it will get open next week.
You know, I saw the other day that the levee door on the south side is open for the tracks.
It's open at the north side too.
Is it
Just
already?
they had tons of mud in there that
Yeah.
they had to work through.
I think they
It's
were
good- it's
working
good
on
news.
Sunday to get that cleaned up. I saw the city trucks.
That is sticky, sticky, sticky mud.
Mm.
Yes.
Oh, God.
I bet it stinks.
Yeah, it is sticky and stinky, yeah. Yeah. Any other business for this committee? If not, the meeting stands adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Where you headed? Heading to church.
Oh, look at that.
Lars on my list.
Both days.
You're on my list.
Thank you all.
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations, congratulations.
Just don't get sick, Sarah.
Just vacation. Sarah's in town for each one of them.
Or all
Yeah, we're gonna be
night.
open at 9 o'clock in the morning.
All right.
Susie,
Susie, I'll see you tomorrow.
Are you gonna be out there?
I'll be out there.
Okay.